Hi guys, it's Sonelias and welcome back to Hearts of Iron number 4. And we're carrying on by loading the end of the last saved game, which we were playing as the Netherlands, or the Dutch Rijk, as it is currently known. We're working towards, of course, unifying our country with Belgium as well as Luxembourg to become the United Netherlands. Anyways, let's have a look at our actual production queue, making sure we got all the relevant items in there. We're just adding these motorized trucks here, making sure we got them in there at least. Just checking if I can actually do any variants on any of them. But it looks like I cannot, which is a little bit of a pity, but yeah, so be it. Now, as you can see, we're actually able to produce, of course, units in our colonies, which is great. Our current focus is nationalism. So we're basically trying to enhance our manpower capability through getting more nationalism focused or manpower focused bits. Now, as you saw, we had 4 technology slots, so that's great. And of course, we are basically having our individual generals for the different regions, and of course our field marshals for the different regions as well. In this instance, we're looking at the region of Indonesia, or at least present-day Indonesia, formerly known as the Dutch East Indies. Anyways, let's get the clock running again, and let's see what we see in terms of technological progress and so forth. Maybe I should create 2 different theaters, because at the moment everything fits in a single theater. Having 2 separate theaters makes it a bit easier, but yeah, we'll have a look at how we can actually do that. So this grouping here, ideally I'd like to have it in a separate theater. And I can do that by clicking on the button that says, I think, new theater, is that it? I'm not sure. I haven't really worked too much with theaters myself yet, but okay. I guess it makes sense for us to create some kind of theaters. Okay. Right. Dutch Theater 1 is what we're looking at the moment. I guess I just have to click on the correct button. Let's first change the color to make it clear as to what we're dealing with here. Maybe also change the icon. Cool. That's a clear enough different icon. Of course, I forgot to click on save here, isn't it? Now the icon has disappeared, but okay. Anyways, we're seeing the orders for the individual generals. Let's mess. Ah, yes, good. That's how we create the different theaters. Having, of course, the relevant army units on there. Sorry, guys, it's taking me just a minute to basically get this all sorted. Once we got this all sorted, we should be able to again focus purely upon, of course, the progress or the reunification of the Netherlands. Okay, different army units. And as you can see, the old-fashioned Dutch flag there for the Indonesian colonies, or the Dutch East Indies. That looks like I misspelled Indonesia. Sorry about that. Right, we got that unit assigned, which is good. Did I assign the wrong one to here? I'm not quite sure. I'm a bit confused now. That looks to be okay. So maybe I got them in the wrong order, but hopefully we can fix that in one of the next patches when we can actually reorder the stuff quite easily. And as you can see, we're just renaming it to make sure that the name is correct. Indonesian theater. Alright, our main army that's going to thrust into Belgium. It's ready, preparing for the eventual bits that will happen. Just want to make sure I set the relevant armies to basically do their relevant things in the Dutch East Indies as well. Alright, next item to come about is the radio, it looks like. Just checking out what we can do in terms of combat logs here. Nothing in there yet, of course. Alright. Back to the Dutch East Indies, but because we just have gotten a new army unit, we're just assigning that to a new army group. Anything else I need to produce? Well, let's maybe prioritize at least the weapons a little bit more. What's the next item we want to have on the list? Do you want to go for the radar? No, probably not. Let's have a look at the other items we got here. Now we're currently in 1938, of course, and I think it makes sense for us to get the Fokker plane researched. At least we can get some Air Force, proper modern Air Force units into play as well. Alright, back to our home territory. Next item to become available is our nationalism focus, it looks like. And again, another unit became available. Let's again assign that. I'll probably be doing that for a little bit more during the next minutes, hours, however long this game is going to take me. Anyways, Anton Mussert has angered the Belgians. Well, I guess that kind of makes sense, because the Belgians were basically slowly working towards a war justification against them. France and Britain have announced an alliance. That's good. Well, good from their perspective, not from my perspective, but okay. Alright, I'm going to assign this Air Force unit here to one of my armies. I'm actually going to assign it to the army operating here in the Dutch territories. Hungary renounces the Treaty of Trianon. Okay. Justify war goal. We're also going to justify war goal against Luxembourg. As you can see, it takes about 310 days, so it's a quite long one. It's taken me 62 political power at the same time. So yeah, my ideal goal, of course, is to be able to declare war upon them relatively shortly after I've actually conquered Belgium. Anyway, the next item here in line is, of course, militarization. We want to basically get that additional manpower. Alright, another unit became available. And again, the lucky thing for what I'm doing here is all the units I'm building in the Dutch East Indies, they're actually using purely Indonesian manpower. They're using my weapons maybe, but they're using Indonesian manpower. So it's not affecting my local manpower here. I'm going to slightly increase the prioritization of fighters. As you can see, we're building military factories in various different locations. Finished another item of research. Computing machine. Let's pause the game a little bit and at least then maybe prioritize one of these factories, civilian factories here, and let's maybe build a few extras in there. Yeah, let's put those civilian factories more towards the top if I can. Alright, we completed this item. What's the next one? Let's go for the decryption or encryption. Which one should I go for? Decryption. At least gives me some intelligence on what the enemy plans are, which is always welcome. Militarism is another 50 days to go. It looks like research-wise that's going to take longer anyway, so yeah, we're in a good position here. Simon den Hollander. Right, time is progressing slowly. Did I sign everything correctly? I'm not sure. So yeah, so I got Field Marshal here in the Dutch theater. And the Indonesian theater, it looks like for some reason I lost my Field Marshal. So let's get a new one here into play. I'll have to recruit a new one. And of course I have to promote him as well, because otherwise he's not acting as a Field Marshal. Key reason I'm really doing this is, of course, I want to make sure they get the extra bonuses from the Field Marshal. Even though it's not the best Field Marshal, the bonuses will still come through. Right. Improved infantry equipment. Always good. Improves our use of the weapons. Now we're relatively close to 1939, so that's, I guess, a good thing in one way or another. Right. Fokker fighter planes is coming up. Looks to be the quickest to come up again. Anything in the list here? Yeah. Repudiation of the Treaty of London. That's the one we are still looking for. That'll be reuniting the Netherlands to become the United Netherlands. Or I guess it's becoming Leo Belgicus, but we'll see exactly what the name will be. So we're looking at the Fokker D21. Now it looks like we can actually do another upgrade to that if we wanted to, the FK58. There's various bits of other technology available here as well. Doctrines. Tanks is a useful one. But should I go for the tank or should I go for the plane? Tank, plane, what should we go for? Yeah. There's useful bits in here as well. A little bit ahead of schedule, but yeah, let's go for this one, the field hospital. At least it helps me recover manpower quicker. Now before I'm going to build this plane here, let's actually upgrade some of the components on there. Firstly, of course, reliability. I haven't got enough experience to actually do much more than that, but that's the plane we're going to be building from now onwards. Alright, let's to build 2 of those planes. At least dedicated 2 factories to building the planes is maybe what I should be saying. Alright, militarism is progressing nicely. We got 85, 86 political power, and we of course want to invest that into something that's useful towards our situation here as well. Now, as you see, at the moment I'm doing this purely from the Dutch perspective, or the perspective of the Netherlands, I maybe should say. Maybe the recording I'm going to do, maybe I'm going to do this from the Belgian perspective. Basically try to redo exactly what we're doing here, but then basically play as Belgium and see if we can actually reunite it from that angle instead. That would be quite interesting, I think. Alright, well, let's get that zooming in back on our home territory here. Alright, looks like the troops are trained and ready. Good. Time is progressing nicely again. Militarism, so that gives us a boost in terms of manpower, which is nice. Military youth would give us an additional boost, but do we want to go for that or not? Of course, there's lots of other nice ones to go for, like naval effort, which would be useful for us actually if we want to basically go for the additional research slot. I think that's the one I really want to go for, the naval effort. Maybe actually getting more manpower is the initial goal we want to go for. So yeah, military youth. And then yeah, for the extra research slot we will need additional factories. We need to have 50 factories in total for that. So yeah, we will work with that quite closely. Alright, Dutch homeland. There are some opposing forces there, but they're not major. Even though they are steadily growing over time. Alright. The border seems to be pretty secure. Target's been set. Not going to do much with those targets as of yet, but okay. Now, I think really what we should start doing maybe is also start working towards the motorized. Or maybe the tanks. As you can see, I got a tank division option there, but yeah, let's for the moment just leave it as it is. So I've got 6 motorized already in training. An extra army group, or at least divisions, become available here. Let's assign that to the army, and it automatically goes to the front line, as you can see. I'm just manually pushing these out now, just at least I'll get the army filled out. So it's now 24 out of 24, which means I shortly will have to actually create an additional entry here. And manpower, as you can see, it's slowly growing, but it's really, really slowly. Oh well. So be it. Yugoslavia claims Bulgaria. Interesting. Technological progress. Our doctrine has advanced. That's quite expensive, isn't it? 240 days almost. Wow. So if there's something that actually allows me to reduce that number, that'd be nice. But yeah, which way should I take here? Because there's two approaches. Either dispersed support or integrated support. The one, of course, is more in supporting the actual units, which is great. What else could I go for? Let's go for the tank. Tank is quite a useful unit to have. Allows me to do a bit more blitzkrieg kind of tactics. It's more yeah, useful for the longer run, but good. Now, eventually we will, of course, get the Netherlands reunited. At least I'm assuming we will. What's the next goal afterwards? I guess getting France in our grips would be nice. But yeah, that's further in the future. Let's for the moment just focus on what we're doing here. Division speed, defense, attack. What do I want to get? The speed is, of course, probably the most useful here. Allows us to basically move quicker through those situations. If it's only by 10%, it's still helpful. Anyways, looks like we're going to be able to declare a war in the March 1939. Not 19. Yeah, no, 1939. Alright. Reassert Eastern Claim. Now, is that basically against the Czechoslovakia? Interesting. We're improving our diplomatic relationships with Germany. Now, we're not joining their faction as of yet, but we just want to make sure we are both good friends. So a good starting point for any future joining of the faction. Alright. Military youth, 67 out of 70 days. 69, 70. And done. Let's pause the game. Now what's the next one? Let's go for the... Army effort is quite useful because of course that gives me a boost in terms of the doctrines. Alright, let's get that clock running again. Production is going slowly but steadily. Decryption has been finished, or has finished. Now let's go for the encryption now as well. Just the opposite side of things. It looks like in terms of technology we're going to get the top 1 support weapons as well as the field hospital to finish before the next focus will do. And of course the weapons is another useful one here, other than 74 days to go. But of course that's the upgraded set of weapons. That's the more the machine guns we're going to get, or semi-automatic machine guns. Alright. Now there should be one other technological progress here, which is the field hospital. Again, key reason for me to get that is, of course, I want to reduce the amount of reliance upon our manpower. So as you can see, I can choose to basically add bits to our army. Field hospital is one of them. Useful. Now, of course, will cost me some manpower. It will also cost me some equipment, of course. But I don't think I'm really that's such a situation where I'm having problems with that. And of course we also want to put that field hospital for the motorized division, because again it's a quite useful component to have on there, even though if it's the only bit to add, it reduces our casualties quite nicely. Alright. As you can see, we got a shortage of support equipment. So we need to give that a booster. Now let's create a brand new unit here. Another set of planes here. Let's make that 15 planes. That seems like a reasonable number. Unfortunately, it looks like we don't have enough manpower. So even though we might be able to get the correct number set, I cannot produce it because of the manpower situation. Manpower is an issue. Now we will of course resolve that, but yeah, for now we're going to be able to put that extra Air Force unit into play. Alright. Back home. Now we're reaching a point where we're almost, I guess, going to be able to save the game. Yeah, manpower is one of the big issues we are having at the moment. But I guess, guys, we're going to call it a day shortly. So in the meantime, thanks again for joining me. Hope you, of course, enjoyed this. Before we actually go over, set a new research target here. And let's go for the advanced equipment conversion. Or, yeah, at least allows to convert a little bit quicker from one type to another. Anyways, guys, I guess I will see you in the next episode. In the meantime, take care. Bye-bye.